You better do the drugs. You better take that sip of that tea. You better digest that mushroom. You better take that ayahuasca. I feel like the moment I tell people that I work in shamanism and is a part of my literal life path, my career, everyone already starts to assume that I do drugs, right? That all my retreats are going to be involving ayahuasca. And I feel like this Uranus Cazimi is showing us how to shift that mindset in a very, very drastic way. And I want to start off by saying, like, I'm not here to demonize any drugs. Step one, like, not at all. I'm actually excited to see how this era of drugs that we went through has been a gateway for so many people. And for clarity up front, like, I've never taken ayahuasca myself. To be honest, there are no drugs that I've taken that has brought me to this super duper enlightened state. I feel like we're going to talk about this very, 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 very quickly. And so, here's the thing, right? We're at this Uranus Cazimi, and Uranus in Taurus is like, many of us have been going through this tremendous lightning download through the physical body. We have been resetting our nervous system. I wanted to do this video 3 days ago, before the Cazimi, but my body didn't even grant me access to do it until right now. And I feel like this is a part of shamanism. 1, 2, drugs. 3, how drugs and understanding that as a human being, we all have hormones, how our hormones in our body are literally deliberating and deciding how we feel, what we do, what we think, through patterns, through subconscious conditionings, through the family and generational patterns. So drug is anything that we become addicted to, right? This can be simply food. Food can be a drug to somebody. And so today I'm going to talk about 4 major topics. I'm going to give forecasts for all 12 zodiac signs. Okay, and I got some stuff here, and I'm here to remind you that the main drug is the spiritual technology, right? Us returning to our nature, understanding that the nature of our being, of our physical being, is naturally connected to what is considered spiritual technology, which we're going to explain and help you understand what the hell is spiritual technology today. Calm, kindness, kinship, love. I've given up all that inner peace. I've made my mind a sunless place. I share my truth and my dreams, my goal. Hello, I love your name. I love how you use that font. Thank you for hitting that thumbs up. And thank you for this poem, Luthen. So here's the thing, like, as we access these euphoric states, these high consciousness, these transcendental energies, there's something super magical. A lot of it, when you talk about shamanism, a lot of it, in my understanding, is coming through movement. Okay? It's coming through music and sound. And you don't need to have the tools. You don't need to have the flute. You don't need to have the drum. Okay? It's not about having the things. This is a misconception, It's not about the drugs itself, right? You yourself, you are the drug. You're the drug that the world needs. You're the drug that the world is waiting for. You're the addiction even that people need. As we talk about this full moon in Scorpio that just brought light to what was hidden for us, what is our hidden gifts? Okay? What are the things that there's a frequency disruption. Yeah, I'm right. She's right on my shoulder. So this within itself is shamanism. Right? Like, even in this moment, something within this particular transmission of me speaking on live, like, there is a frequency disruption. I don't even know if that's somebody in the chat. It doesn't matter, because we're going to get this message through. And so, Uranus meets the sun this week, and to understand that just because it happened today or yesterday, understand these type of things, it takes time to download and understand and upload, the new addictions, the new drugs, the new needs, the new forms of security. Okay? And so the thing is, I want to speak to those of you who feel like you're ready to awaken, and I remind you that in shamanism, our mission is not to wake you up. Okay, our mission is to remind you that you are a conscious and active dreamer, that you're here to consistently dream. The moment you wake up is the moment that the dream ends. The moment you stop becoming a conscious creator in reality. The moment you fall back to sleep. So the thing is, there's nothing to wake up from. So I want to really understand that. And for those of you who are ready to wake up without the use, wake up. For those of you ready to dream actively, consciously, to become reality shapers, which all shamans are, without the drug, without the ayahuasca, without the mushroom, without the tea, this is for you. So here's the thing, here's my section 1 before I get into the all 12 zodiac signs. Okay, section 1 is the understanding that drugs were the door. Okay, so this Neptune and Pisces that we went through, now we're moving into Aries, Pisces being drugs. Okay, we have Saturn in Pisces. How do we use drugs more effectively, more efficiently? A lot of people have set boundaries and come into the reality of what drugs are, how they impact us. Okay, so the thing is, we got to honor the medicinal path of ayahuasca, the medicinal path of mushrooms, of the tea. We have to honor the path and what it has done for the collective, right? So understand Uranus is a collective energy. And so right now, since 2018, Uranus in Taurus has been collectively waking us up to our own physical technology that is linked to the spiritual, or what cannot be seen, which is Scorpio. And a lot of us went through this on the Scorpio full moon. A lot of us are having this awakening, aka the reminder that we are constantly dreaming. So the thing is, for many of us, the reality is this peak has passed. This peak of ayahuasca, this peak of drugs, this peak of I need this in order to reach this transcendental state. This peak has passed, and we have to understand this. Right now, there's an era where the sacred plants are actually kind of returning, and they're deciding, you know, we don't want to continue to deliver the medicine anymore to the collective because it's done what it needed to do. Thank you for those hearts up. Thank you for those thumbs up. It did what it needed to do for the time being, you know. But the reality was, it was just a reminder. Many people that have went through these, that went through drugs for transcendental experiences, have come back to the reminder that, damn, what's real is inside of me. What is real, I can never find outside of me. And understand, any drug you take, marijuana, alcohol, all of these things will create a translucid, opaque opening through the veil, where we can access different states of consciousness, we can access different realms, different energies, we can receive silent and subtle messages. All drugs will do this for you. The thing is, there is an external dependence where we can't depend on reaching these states that way. So even right now, you know, I'm not even really sure what's going on in the comments, but it feels like some spam is happening. So understand that even me talking about this message, understand what happens very quickly, the type of energy that it attracts to even talk about ayahuasca, to even talk about, you know, transcendental drugs and experiences. It already got a little funky in the comment. But thank you for all in one, because you seem like a normal person. You seem like you're not here to spam. So thank you for that. So this is section 1. Understand that right now, which many of us are realizing as a collective, is that you're already the shaman. Understand that the shaman is a bridge, is a gatekeeper of the languages of the universe. Being able to speak to any realm, any dimension, with or without any drug or any altered state. Okay? Understand that we can get those altered states through movement, through breath. So here's the thing, you know, the reality is many of us are realizing through this phase of ayahuasca and drugs, is what our shamans, and shamans always do retreats with drugs. Many of us right now are realizing that the illusion didn't work on you because your eyes are already wide open. And this is something that I've realized for myself, like maybe twice in my life have I taken mushrooms, and both times nothing happened. The one thing that I was able to accept and realize was that everything that was already around me just became more present. I became a little more sensitive to those things. I became a little more aware to those things. I remember doing this. I was on a beach. You know, I'm like, all right, let me go isolate myself. I'm going to try mushrooms for the first time. And literally, I just felt the wind on my skin a little bit more present with the wind. I felt the salt in the air. I tasted the salt in the air a little more present, right? I noticed the brightness of the sun glistening off the ocean, just a little bit more present with it. But the reality was, if anything that it taught me in that moment, and this is just through mushrooms, I never did ayahuasca, was what a lot of people I feel like in a collective are waking up to, right? It's the reality that, you know, these things don't work because you're already seeing through the natural illusion. And so when we talk about seeing through the Maya, seeing through the illusion, seeing through the matrix, right? This is the concept. So any of you that felt, I had a client the other day that told me she did an ayahuasca retreat in Colombia, and she's like, you know, everybody around me was having these, you know, wild experiences about this, and this happened, and they saw this, and that. And she's sitting there and she's just like, yeah, but nothing happened. And I told her, and I reminded her that, you know, the thing is, like, you're already able to see through the illusion. So there's no mystical experience that needs to happen because you're already living a mystical existence. So this is one of the things that I have to say as I move to part 2 of this Uranus, Cazimi, and Taurus. Talking about this organic awakening, understand that Uranus is insight, okay? Taurus is earth, fixed earth, even specific. Thank you for hitting those thumbs up. Man, I think there's a mosquito up in here. And so Taurus represents embodiment and represents our natural gifts, gifts that we're born with, yeah? So the Sun Uranus Cazimi is showing us right now that, again, our physical bodies, we're naturally connected to spirit. We have a direct line to spirit. We have a direct line to source energy, especially when we just put our feet on the dirt. How many times have you just decided, why do you think shoes, okay, think about it, right? Taurus and Pisces have a sextile relationship. Pisces equates to the feet, and Taurus is the physical body, among other things, the neck and etc. Why do you feel like when you put your feet, the physical body, earth, to the ground, you feel so connected? You get recharged because your body within itself is electric. So Uranus is a planet of electricity. Uranus is a planet of conscious frequencies that are able to come through the crown if we decide to love ourselves, and we decide not to hate ourselves, and we decide to look at our pride and how our pride is blocking us rather than supporting us, because pride can support. And so the thing is, as our bodies, and all of us is electric to this Taurus field, and literal, for me to move my finger, I have to send an electrical synapses from the brain to tell my finger to move, and it happens just that fast. So understand, when we connect to the earth recharges that energy. When we connect to natural materials like linen, one of the highest, like wool from a sheep, like cotton, okay, from the earth, we naturally recharge. We feel more recharged. When you wear things like spandex, you start to die. Literally, you start to create cancerous cells. When you wear fabrics that are not real fabrics, these are the things we own. This is Taurus. So many of us are coming into this conscious enlightenment and awakening to the fact of, yo, I need to eat more natural. I need to wear more natural clothing. I need to be around more plants. You know, my plant is a prime example of how it shows me every day that I'm connected to spiritual reality. Right now, I'm sitting in my spot that I meditate daily. And now I'm sitting here and I'm talking to you. I do yoga right here in this spot daily. And my plant, she leans to me. And I'm looking, I'm like, you know, why doesn't she lean that way? She doesn't lean that way. She doesn't lean this way. She always leans this way because I sit right here. Hit those thumbs up. 6 people watching. Thank you for hitting those 6 thumbs up. I appreciate you for supporting the channel. And so this is right here where we're claiming that spotlight. We're returning to this organic connection where we don't need substances to connect to the mystical. Okay. Now, beyond that, this is actually about reclaiming Earth as a sacred tool. You know, understand that Earth is the most sacred tool that we have, and we're always connected with her. She already is. We are the vessel, and the breath itself is the portal. As I open this flower, I open the crown, and I allow this brilliant light, color of my choice, color of my guides, and what they decide to deliver. They're delivering pink right now, and they're moving this through my heart. They're saying, yes, unconditional, unconditional, unconditional love. Meaning, yes, I shall not engage in transactional relationships because this is what it means to value myself. As I do this, I understand that the unconditional transaction with spirit, with source, is not only fueling and charging my body on this Uranus-Sun condition, on this Uranus-Sun conjunction, but it is reminding me that I myself am the earth, a part of it, and the earth is a part of so much more than what I can see with my physical eyes. This is Taurus reaching Scorpio, the shadow of the occult. So understand, to get there, to experience this, the breath is the portal. And the thing is, the movement that we do is the ritual. Hear what I just said. The movement is the ritual. The breath is the portal. You listening to this is the vessel. I thank you. I see those extra 2 people hit that thumbs up. I really appreciate you. So my affirmation here is, the thing is saying, I don't need substance to be supernatural. I repeat this. I want you to say this in the chat for me. Help the channel out and help yourself out by confirming this and affirming it. I don't need substance to be supernatural, because as a reality, it's true. Okay. Now we're gonna move to section 3 before we get to the all 12 zodiac signs. Give you forecast. I see you hitting those thumbs up. I appreciate you. Okay, the coming of Uranus and Gemini is happening. So I'm gonna go deeper in this more in that month. I think it's July. But Uranus and Gemini 2025, it's here. And the thing is, we're entering an era where the mind itself, okay, hear me? You hear me? The mind itself is literally becoming our teacher. Understand that Gemini is about learning. So we're moving from Taurus, and I explained a little bit about what Taurus was about, and bringing this spiritual technology back to the physical body. Understanding I didn't know substance for this, because substance is a Scorpio. That's the shadow of Taurus. You hear me? Drugs of the underworld is Scorpio. That's a substance. And that's the opposite of what Taurus needs. Taurus needs organic connection. And so the thing is, Gemini is literally the environment. So our environment is about to become our teacher. So again, this plant in my environment becomes my teacher. These bells and the sounds they make become my teacher. It's teaching me, if it just rings 3 times, I hear those 3 bells. I'm like, okay, 3 is the number and the understanding of Jupiter. Jupiter, what do you want me to wisely sit still and understand? Jupiter, where are you right now, Jupiter? Jupiter, you're currently in Gemini still? Okay, you want me to learn how my environment is communicating with me. You want me to understand that spiritual intelligence itself is what is all around us. So when the leaf hits me in the back of the head as I'm having a conversation about enlightened moments or about having, sacred sex and bringing sacred sexuality, let's say Taurus coming back to the organic body, and a yellow leaf decides to hit my head, is telling me, solar plexus is reminding me to emote, to feel, and to work from a heart center, not from pure ambition where I run over people in my work that I do, but instead to feel very closely my own intimate and innate emotions and how they are being heart powered and charged by peace, by gentleness, by compassion towards my ambitions. Like all of this can come from a yellow leaf. You can take this message within yourself. And I'm using this as a real life example because the yellow leaf literally just hit me in my hip. So it's like, okay, it's not hitting me in my head, it's my hip. My hip is Taurus. Nope, sorry. My hip is Sagittarius. So it's like, whoa, Sagittarius, what are you telling me? That may tell me to go to Sagittarius in my chart. It may tell me that, Pernell, you're a Scorpio rising, but you're progressing to Sagittarius rising. It may tell me that I need to teach, that I need to remind people what they are. Every one of you listening to this is a shaman. Everybody alive, everybody born is a shaman. You don't need the credentials. You don't need to go through the rite of passage. You don't need to go to the retreat. You don't need to do the ayahuasca. You were born this way. But it does help to remember. And it does help to actually embrace and accept that shamans do walk a lonely walk. It happens. So I bring you to this step 3, reminding you that as I take a sip of this coconut water, we need to right now expect a rise in awareness in the subtle signs as well as the everyday messages. Understanding that Gemini is Mercury, which what we do every day on routine and by ritual, which means our ritualistic thoughts, our ritualistic conversations. So when you walk into the office at work and you hear somebody say, oh yeah, how you doing today? Oh, well, same poop, different day. And it's like, this within itself, this ritualistic, same poop, different day. It's like, no, I need to get away from you. Because you're not here to help me advance the spiritual technology that my mind in this Uranus and Gemini is actually looking to connect with. You're the reason why I feel like I need to go do an ayahuasca retreat in the first place. Because I feel trapped, I feel stuck. That's how people even in the first place start getting to. This is why those who may not be in those mindsets, those who may choose entrepreneurship, those who may choose to walk their own path, this is literally why you don't find them in the excess, keyword excess. You find the 9 to 5, and I got nothing against you. I'm not saying you're living a bad life by living a 9 to 5. I'm not saying your life is boring. You have plenty of things going on. I'm not saying that. But what I am trying to clarify is there is a masses of the 9 to 5, and there is another smaller group who are deciding to walk their own path. And usually those are people who don't feel like they need to wake up and feel like they don't need to escape the matrix because they found a way to just do it on their own internally. Hit the thumbs up and the likes button. So the reality is there's spiritual technology that is already embedded in life itself, in our everyday environment, in our conversations. Listen not just with your ears, but with your heart. Listen not just with your mind ready to respond, okay, but with universal consciousness. So here's the point that I want to make right here. The future shaman is literally a translator of energy itself, which is what I feel like they've always been. But the key word is not that they're just a translator of energy itself, but they are not a consumer of it. Meaning, when I came and I got hit with the yellow flower, the yellow leaf on my hip, it told me, Pernell, we know you wanted to do this live 3 days ago. Yes, we understand that technically the Uranus Cazimi passed, but people need to hear what they need to hear now, because right now, today, the right people are ready to listen. And it's telling me, boom, right now is not to be a consumer, not for me to go watch Uranus Cazimi videos, but to go and pour the medicine after I've taken my rest over the weekend, instead of forcing my nervous system to do it at a false timeline because every other astrologer is talking about it. No, it came to me now. Speak it from the heart. Speak it with emotion. So I go to section 4, and then I think after this section, I do all 12 zodiac signs. Okay. So when I look at the next part, what is a shaman, and how do we communicate? How do we do it without necessarily having these enlightened experiences through drugs, whether it's mushrooms, ayahuasca, the teas, wachuma, all these different things, peyote, like there's thousands of drugs that people take in order to have certain experiences that essentially they create and they make up in their mind. Understand you can do this within yourself. But one of the ways that we do this in the art of shamanism is through the 5 elements. It's one of the simplest ways, okay? Earth, air, wind, fire. Understanding that air is the breath. Yes. Earth is the grounding. Water is the emotion and the flow. Fire is the action, is the transformation. Ether is the spirit. These are the 5 elements, right? And the thing is, these elements themselves are not metaphors. That's what we really must understand. They are literally living life forces within you. The Chinese know this very, very well, and they break them into metal, wood, and they have their own version of the elements. But essentially, yeah, this mosquito got me. Essentially, they understand, and plenty of us, that all of you listening are shamans, you understand that these elements and these forces are within you. By hitting a thumbs up, you're confirming these elements are within me. And I thank you as well. Thank you for the gratitude. So the thing is, together we have an opportunity to move the body, move the breath, move the spirit, move the mind, move the emotion in us. And as we movement is one of the key elements of shamanism, okay? So Taurus is really one that stays still. But once Uranus moves into Gemini, you're going to realize a lot of people are going to start moving, because Gemini is not just the thoughts that we have and the interactions with the environment and the conversations and the communications. Okay. Gemini is more than that. Gemini is the courage that it takes to speak up against what may be considered the norm in society. This is Gemini. Okay. Gemini is here to speak up and blurt impulsively what it thinks, what it feels in the moment. Okay. And then of course, we benefit from Cancer, who knows how to hold certain impulses that Gemini may have, because it is empathetic enough to understand certain environments require certain words, and certain environments requires us to kind of be quiet a little bit and speak at the right moment. And this is a part of shamanism as well, is knowing, not always knowing just what to say, but knowing most importantly when to say it and how to say it, what tone will it be delivered, knowing how to create opportunities and spaces for people to ask the proper questions and give them the medicine, aka teach what you have to share at the right timing. And it's a huge part of shamanism. Okay, so we got to understand this as well. But together we use breath, we use movement, we dance, right? Connection with spirit. There's altered states that last when we decide to integrate them and elevate, but with those 5 elements. And so, I say this to say, one, I'm reminding you right now, come to the 3-day shamanic alchemy webinar. It's starting this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's free to join. And elements in a brand new way, and how they link not just to shamanism but to you within your own physical body, how you can communicate with those elements. And so if that's something interesting to you, I'm going to have a first place, second place, third place type prize. I'm going to give away a reading, I think 3 different readings, but 3 different ways. So check out my post on YouTube. My last post that I put up, I put my feet in the ground, and it's about recharging that electrical energy. And when I did before this video, I got something magical that I'm able to share. So do consider that, this 3-day free is this weekend, and I think we're ready to get into the all 12 zodiac signs. Okay, so before I do, I want to remind you, if you ever felt like you've done ayahuasca, mushrooms, and you didn't necessarily feel nothing, right? You've done wachuma, you've done peyote, you did marijuana, you did, whatever it is. I invite you literally to understand that maybe this was your sign to understand that you are already aware that you're a conscious dreamer and reality creator and reality shaper, right? This is what shamans are at their core. One of the main things is we shape reality as we see fit, and as life, spirit, source is telling us to tell you, right? So you're nothing to wake up from, right? So the thing is, maybe you're realizing right now that you're not the one who needs it. You already begun to see through the Maya. You begin to see through the illusion on your own. And so for those seers that have been waiting, this is what I say. I say, come. One, start off just simple with the 3-day free webinar, okay, the Shamanic Alchemy webinar, if you feel like that's you, and learn how to do what we do and do it for yourself. So now let's get into Aries. Okay, what is this at 25 minutes? So Aries, I did all 12 signs and I decided to do it as this, like, what are the gifts that each sign has waken up? So the intuitive power, the mystical power that Aries is waking up is something called intuitive action. Okay, and intuitive action is really where Uranus has taught you to pause before charging forward. And this is what Taurus is about. It's about stillness, yeah? And right now you've awakened the ability to actually feel the timing in your bone. So I am in Aries, right? And this is what I meant. Like, I really wanted to do it. I wanted to do it and I wanted to charge forward. But this is what, over the last, since 2018 until 2025, was that 5 years? The last 7 years, the Uranus cycle, this is what Uranus has taught me as an Aries, literally feeling it in your bones. Now you're starting to move with sacred precision, and this is the magic, and not just on the impulse. So you're able to recognize your impulse, but understand when do you do it and how do you sit in stillness and magnetize the beauty towards you in the right timing, okay? She's tickling me. She keep playing. You're so funny, girl. Come on, girl. What you doing? I got a new one opening right here. You see this one? She's new. She's new. Hey, what's up, baby? And I would say plants have really, for Aries, plants, part of your mystical power, plants have really been teaching me tremendously how to communicate with spirit, how it's always communicating with me. Oh, this one's done. I need to switch. So another thing is you move with sacred precision. You understand that your responsibility here, Aries, is that each one of your actions has a sacred ripple. Okay? Each one of them have a sacred ripple. And so when you do any one thing, you are the beginning of all things. So Aries, you got to understand this is a big responsibility. It's important to channel your fire and understand that it's time for you to lead, okay? But gently towards embodied courage. All right, Aries? So Taurus, here we go. Your mystical power is literally earth alchemy. Taurus, you've become the priestess energy, right? Like, you're embodying that from the tarot. You are able to literally feel the shifts, okay? I'm gonna move this right here. You're able to feel the shifts and through your bodies, through your senses, to your environment, all right? Taurus, at this point in time, you are working with plants, with food, with touch as healing tools itself. And I feel like me as an Aries, my sun has already progressed into Taurus, so I feel like I'm really resonating with this myself as well. Being able to really sense the environment, the shifts in the environment, able to feel through earth alchemy how to transform a feeling or an emotion, a thought into something powerfully stabilizing, right? Not just for yourself, but as your opposite side, Scorpio, others. So the thing is, your responsibility is not to hoard your gifts. And I've seen this, and then this is part of my sign when I got the yellow leaf that hit me in the hip that I told you about earlier. And it's not to hoard your gifts. It's to actually speak up. It's to open up sacred spaces for others. Okay, even when you crave solitude. So the thing is, I've been really coming to reality as a Taurus myself, like, that I like to stay home, that I like to stay home, and that I don't always share my gifts. And that there are times when I do hoard them, and I've been really coming, this Scorpio full moon helped me understand recently, like, this is a responsibility of mine, is to actually speak up where I know it's necessary. So Gemini, your mystical power is coming to life, and it is translating spirit, Gemini. So your mind has literally become a channel. It's always been a channel, but you're really, really, really aware and keen to this channel. You're understanding how words, symbols, numbers, certain signs, certain winds, certain rainstorms, certain things dropping. You're really seeing the synchronicities. And right now you can not only hear, but experience your environment and translate what spirit is communicating with you at an all-time new high, in a way where the environment literally itself is interpreting messages that other people miss on that consistent. And this comes with a major responsibility. Right now, your responsibility is to learn how to speak with sacred intent. All right, Gemini, when you do this, your voice starts to activate. It starts to awaken other people, the people in your society, your neighbors, your brothers, your sisters, your aunts, your uncles. It is no longer going to be scattered words, but intentional. So Gemini, this is what I have for you. And Cancer, your mystical power that is awakened during this Uranus Cazimi is emotional clairsentience. And so the thing is, you may realize and feel like, damn, you know what, like, I've always had, clairsentience. But the thing is, you're starting to actually navigate beyond the deep waves itself. So Cancer, you're normally like the surface waves that are come up on the shore, right? Crabs don't really go deep sea diving. They stay on the beach and they get in the water and they get out of the water. But the thing is, like, you're able to get into the deeper waves and you're starting to be able to do this without drowning. And this is what the Uranus Cazimi has done for Cancer. You're no longer drowning in the emotions and what the things that you feel other people. You now can see other people's inner worlds, inner truth, before they see it. before they even have a chance to speak them out loud. And you're here to help people through that, walk them through that, but without drowning yourself, without suffocating, and able to hold space, but more like a sacred vessel, okay? A sacred container that, again, knows when to stop, knows when to stop giving. And this is the thing, this leads us to your responsibility. You have a keen responsibility during this Uranus Cazimi in the last 7 years of your gift awakening, Cancer, that says don't absorb, witness, okay? Don't absorb, witness. This is your responsibility. Reflect and transmute. So when you witness and you just reflect like water back to the person, you don't really have to do anything to be a mirror, right? You don't have to do anything to transmit that energy. Just be present. Creating emotional sanctuaries does not equate to you having to focus on rescue missions, right? You're not here to save everybody. You're not here to be everybody's mother. You're not here to be everybody's caretaker, Cancer. And this is just the responsibility you have. So Leo, your mystical powers that awaken is literally embodied radiance, right? Your light no longer needs validation. So Leo, a lot of Leos will come into a lot of strength, a lot of courage lately because, again, like I said, your light no longer needs validation. You're remembering right now that joy is a part of spiritual technology itself. Like you just experiencing happiness, joy, and allowing yourself to be radiant is more than enough as for a gift for other people. And the thing is, your presence alone starts to uplift, radiate, and align others that you come in contact with. And it's simply by being yourself. And so this is where, you know, you're no longer falling into this, the stories about hate, envy, and jealousy taking you off course, right? Because you're way too radiant for that, and your body that radiates in a way where you can't be taken off course. So you have a big responsibility. Your responsibility is to make sure you don't try to burn out saving other people, right? Very close to Cancer in a way, but you as a masculine fire sign, especially fixed, it's like not getting stuck in the ones where people want you to save them, want you to be their light, want you. I've seen it. I talked to a Leo about this recently. Like, people love to suck the energy out of Leos and absorb all their sunlight because it's vitality. So instead, you're here to teach them how to ignite their own flame, Leo. And that's the magic. That's the gift. Okay, that's your mystical power awakening. As we talk about the mystical power of Virgo. Yeah, there's mosquito hour. They are tagging me up. So Virgo, move, bro. Virgo, you are in the process of pattern healing. And this is a gift. This is something that people may overlook. They don't understand the importance of this gift. But this gift, this mystical power, is able to see the web of cause and effect. So when you press this button and this happens, you can see that, but you can see it even ahead of time. And more than that, you can see the entire web. So you can see one decision after the next decision after the next decision. You can literally see this is the quincunx relationship that Virgo has to Aquarius. So you, when you work through this misunderstanding about how your gifts of pattern recognition and bone weaving works, I talked about bone weaving in my shamanic inheritance video, so go check that out and you'll get a better understanding. But you can see cause and effect in the mind, in the body, and literally in the soul itself as a part of your links to Pisces on the other side. So Uranus really have activated that ability to diagnose imbalances, things that are malfunctioning, things that are subtle through very small details and through ritual. You have been awakened through this mystical power of recognizing patterns. Pattern recognition has always been a part of your life, but it has literally received a tremendous upgrade. And this comes with a responsibility. Because you see so many patterns, because you can see the web of truth, of lies, of so much, quite frankly, because you are here to organize the seams of chaos itself and bring us into order. You have to understand that your biggest responsibility is that understand that perfection itself through that entire web's connection ability is not the goal. Okay, it's not the goal to make everything connect for any and everybody, for all your coworkers, for all the people you're connected with. That's not your design. It's not your mission. It's not your purpose. Okay, instead, it's here to serve with compassion and not to control. Because the thing is, Virgo, you know, the narratives of control comes because you can see the patterns that other people cannot see. You do catch on to the details that others overlook every day, and they think this doesn't bring me anything. This does me no justice. And you realize that it's exactly that one thing that the person needs to get everything they were looking to achieve. As an earth sign, you're here to achieve. You're here to accumulate certain material abundance. And so just don't do it for so many people more than you do it for yourself, okay? And then you're gonna win, and that's what this is about. Libra, your mystical power is something called energy harmonization, okay? And to harmonize is actually very, very complex, but Uranus Cazimi is here to teach you. Hello, baby girl. Come on, what's up? Yeah, you wanna play? That you're here to awaken the gifts that are about harmonizing energy itself and balance the invisible forces. So the force of the heart is invisible. Yeah. The force of the mind is invisible. We can't really see thought. We can't see electromagnetic frequencies of the heart, right? But you can balance this through sound. You are the artist. As a part of Venus, you are a beautiful artist, Libra. Everybody knows this, but it's about learning how to channel your art, learn how to channel your paintings, learn how to channel what you see beautiful in relationships, which might be something as simple as a character trait or potentially a character flaw. You have the ability to look at the both of those and not judge neither of them, but see the reflection and harmonize the energy between those two flaws and gifts. And through this, your own energy fields start to align around you. So what this looks like is your own aura starts to actually repel as well as attract. As you harmonize your own personal energy, it repels as well as attracts the proper forces to come into your life and help serve the things that you're here to progress. Okay, whether socially, financially, and otherwise. So you have a responsibility in understanding that, Libra. Harmony is not about avoiding conflict, okay? Harmony is not about looking at what you may not see or deem beautiful and deciding that it's not worth having a discussion about. It's not worth addressing in any way, shape, or form. This is your responsibility with this upgrade on your gift, Libra. Instead, is in order to use this gift to restore integrity in your connections, integrity with your own personal identity, and also to not mask the truth. Because the thing is, you as the scales of justice, you do see the truth, but the truth is something that is very ugly for a lot of people in the world, and not everybody wants the truth. And so this ability you've awakened, this mystical power of energetic harmonization, is a huge responsibility. All right, Libra, hit the thumbs up. Scorpio, your mystical power is shadow vision. And this is the thing, like Uranus has taught you to understand your own psychic depths. And it's like psychism is already invisible by nature. But the thing is, now you can see even better, even greater what has been hidden from you and hidden in the relationships across from you. Thank you for those hearts up. I see you. There are certain energetic cords right now, ancestral patterns, soul wounds that you've inherited as a part of your responsibility to literally progress the line, the bloodline, the family. I have a shamanic inheritance video that will give you more details about this, but to have the mystical power of shadow vision is a very great responsibility. All right, Scorpio. And here's what this looks like. It looks like an X-ray vision that comes with great power. The power to reveal with love is the trick. Okay, because with this vision that has been honing for the last 7 years with the Uranus Cazimi bringing it into enlightenment, it's very complex to reveal things with love, to reveal things with compassion, to tell somebody a hard truth that they don't want to swallow in a way that they still see you as generous instead of trying to attack you and come at you for you trying to help them out. Not to reveal things with fear, okay? And this is the key. Transform, do not dominate. Right? So when you learn that this is your responsibility to transform, Scorpio, and not dominate through what you're able to reveal via love, aka not fear, this is the mystical gift and power that comes behind having this shadow vision of, again, these energetic cords that not everybody can see. And so you got to make sure you don't try to take dominion just because you can see these things. You see me, Joe? You feel me, my dog? And then this is what it is, Scorpio. So we move into Sagittarius, which your mystical power, Sagittarius, which I think links to Gemini's as well on the other side, is literally becoming and understanding that you've been a portal walker. This is your literal mystical power through the Uranus Cazimi. You are a portal walker. Okay, and so what does that mean? It's like you're actually remembering how to travel through dimensions, how to travel the ley lines that sit within and beneath the earth as well as above, right? Like ley lines, first, you not only know how to recognize them, but you can literally create them. And this is what it means to have the mystical power of portal walking. And so the thing is, it happens as well, not just through creating them, but because you create them through thought, but it also happens through nature. So when you take your solo missions and you start to travel into a forest, into a mountaintop, into cliffs, into the ocean, when you take these little trips, especially alone, this is the key. There are beliefs that have been rewritten through your own nervous system, Sagittarius. And so the thing is, Uranus shows you that expansion is not always about going outward and upward, rather inward. Yeah. And this is the key. Through it, the stillness and through the inward motion, journeying through the portals within you yourself, you have recognized your own personal ley lines that you're connected to and the ones that want and need you to walk. So the thing is, it's also downward into the roots, and that's what Taurus is. That's what Uranus Cazimi taught you as the bull, the earth alchemist. Yeah. So there's a great responsibility that comes with this, Taurus, and that responsibility is willing to share the truth with humility and learning how to teach with permission and not persuasion. So with your shadow abilities of Gemini, you know how to persuade anybody to do anything. You know how to get anybody to buy anything. This happens a lot of times with the guru. I feel like India is a very Sagittarian by nature, right? They have the guru mindset, the guru teachings, and they're very persuasive. They know how to tell stories. They know how to talk. They know how to share information and, you know, religion and beliefs in a way that makes you want to buy into it, even if you don't need it. And so the thing is, your responsibility is to teach with permission. Ask for permission. Let people know what's going on, and if they want, only if they want to know, only if they are craving to dive deeper, and give people space to decide without you trying to persuade them or manipulate them, because as a portal walker, you can see alternate versions of them, and you know, you kind of cheat in that way, you know what I mean? Like, because you may be looking and talking to a version of a person who will accept what you're offering, whether it's a service, whether it's money, connection, sex, whatever it is, and you can persuade them. But the thing is, they come back and later they're very angry later, right? When they do catch up, because you're so far forward seeing through these portals that when people catch up, they get very angry and they start to really dislike you, and they realize, like, wow, this person took advantage of me. So you have to teach with permission, all right, Sagittarius, and share truths, which is what you're here to do, but with humility through that much power. So you move into Capricorn. Capricorn, you have a magical, mystical power that has awakened, and this is the mystical power of reality creation. Okay, you craft reality. You are a reality crafter. And like I said, shamanism, when you talk about shamanism, this is literally what shamanism is about: shaping reality itself, how we see fit and how we're guided to teach others for what's happening. So right now you can materialize energy into literal form because of your ability of time manipulation. Okay, you are a literal time walker, Capricorn. And so through time walking is how you have gained the ability of reality shaping. This is your mystical power. And so not only can you materialize energy into form, get off of me, bro. But there are certain structures, offerings, and systems that your hands have literally built or will be building in the future very soon, aka in the present. And the thing is, it builds temples into literal dreams. So understand, like, temple in this instance is a symbolism, right? What is the temple that you're looking to bring into the physical realms? This is something where only you can understand how to materialize an energy into something sacred that will be a legacy down the line. So make sure you create and shift realities with responsibility, with integrity. This is your responsibility, okay? Your responsibility is to build shapes, but of the future, right? This is you. So it can't be of the past, which is Cancer, your opposite sign, in a sense. It is of the future, not even fully in the present. You're here to build them in the present, but bring the future in the present, materialize that energy form, and stay in integrity with your values and with your visions, and understand your principles and how have your principles shaped your integrity from the past, and how are they shaping your integrity but from the future version in the present. Understanding that the past might need to shift. You might need to literally reality shape and craft a new principle, because you live on principles, you live on your values, you live on your integrity. But if it's outdated, which a lot of times Uranus and Taurus, this Cazimi, was upgrading your nervous system to redate them. Okay, now Aquarius, your mystical power is, as always, beautiful. Okay, it is literally etheric engineering, right? Like, you are the engineer of the webs of reality. Man, this mosquito is really, you're like really, you need to die. So you've become a conduit of cosmic codes, okay, Aquarius? And I feel like you've always been this, but the thing is, you're more willing and ready to actually embody those cosmic codes, to teach them, to share them, and understand that your ideas, like have always been ahead of time. And the thing is, your mystical power of etheric engineering is to not obsess and take too much pride in the fact that yes, you are from the future, you're an alien, your ideas are ahead of time. It's about understanding that now they've actually become grounded enough to be seeded into the earth, which is Taurus, right? Uranus and Taurus, the Uranus Cazimi. So to be seeded, so you're now seeding these cosmic codes. And now when we move into Uranus and Gemini in 2025, these seedings will start to take shape by moving and translating those cosmic codes that you've seeded in Taurus over the next 7 years through Uranus and Gemini. You will have the courage to speak them, to share them a little more impulsively, a little more readily available. You're moving outside the planning and the methodical stage of here's what I need to do with these star codes, and you're starting to actually disseminate them, spread them, right, through the earth, which is connected through under the roots to any and all things. So you have a great responsibility, and your responsibility when it comes to etheric engineering is to use your innovation, but for the collective. Again, Aquarius, your shadow is Leo, right? And it's like, it can't be for yourself. It can't be for your own personal radiance. It has to be for the radiance of other people. And this is your responsibility. It has to be for the collective, never for the ego, never from a place of self-hate either, because Leo is linked to the crown chakra, and the crown chakra is blocked by self-hate. Even if you think you love yourself, but you don't, self-hate as well as pride are the things that blocks the crown chakra. And so you have to include other people in your revolution that you are crafting. Hear what I just said, because it was so important. You have to include other people in the revolution that you are crafting. As you are the etheric engineer, and that is your mystical power, you have to include people in the revolution. And Aquarius, this is what's so important. Aquarius is not just about including people, but because you're between the ages of and human years 65 to 77, this is the type of money, access, abundance that can really shape and engineer the world. You have a lot of money to give away. So you have to understand that you have to give it to the right communities. And you have to actually make sure you don't give it to the wrong communities, to the wrong groups. And this is the great responsibility of Aquarius with the assets that you have accumulated and will continue to achieve in life. And then we talk about Pisces. And Pisces, your mystical power is very simple and complex at the same time. Your mystical power is merging with spirit. Okay? So it's like, what does it mean to merge with spirit? Uranus literally has helped you to reclaim boundaries while still accessing the divine. So in the beginning, 7 years ago from today, you were just merging with everybody. You were healing everybody. And the thing is, it didn't happen with any boundaries. So you kind of lost yourself somewhere along the way because your soul just got diluted and mixed in with others. But as a human being, it's too much for a human to experience so many emotions by merging with so many people irresponsibly. So Uranus and Taurus has taught you proper boundaries in the earth realm, so that when you do use your mystical power that is about merging with spirit itself, you're able to dissolve, okay, through any and all things and actually return to yourself after dissolution, but without losing yourself as a whole. And I've been watching a lot of Pisces have really been on the glow up because, first off, you're the most magical sign in the zodiac, let's be real. But it's about learning how to merge, again, responsibly. So your responsibility is to literally anchor your visions, anchor them, earth, stillness, Taurus, Uranus Cazimi, how to anchor them into reality and learn how to share your literal dreams in a way that others can literally touch, no longer just about manifesting something that disappears in 1 second, but how others can touch them, how they can feel them, how they can live them as experiences. As Pisces is very much about experience through story, experience through mystical adventures of the spirit, through meditations, through dance, through song, right? And so this is a lot of what that's happening. So as I get back to the final message, getting through all 12 zodiac signs now, understand that, we don't need to awaken through ayahuasca. Shamanism is not about drugs. It's not about going on a retreat. It's not about going through some tremendous rite of passage that, you know, now you get to check off. I did the retreat. I did the ayahuasca. I'm a shaman. I got the flute. I got the drum. I got the harmonica. I'm a shaman. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. And many of us did need the drugs. At a collective level. So I'm not here to shame it. I'm not here to pretend that it didn't have an important role in our society, but I am saying that while Uranus is moving to Gemini, the drug is now moving into the mind. Thank you for being here. Join the 3-day free shamanic alchemy workshop to learn so much more. Again, like I said, I'm going to have a first, second, and third prize, giving away free readings, 3 different types of readings. But check out my last post, and you'll get more information about that right there. Mosquitoes are getting me. It's time for me to take a shower. It's been a long day. I love you. Ciao.